Hello, Corey Construction, Farmers Branch investors. Me, Nick DeLeon, and Scott Hare want to give you an update on how the investment is progressing. So as most of you know, we successfully closed the deal on March 14th without a hitch. Deal summary, high level. We purchased the property for $3.1 million. We got a loan for approximately $2 million. And as we noted in the previous update, we got a $40,000 concession from the seller, basically like a reduction in price, but the money gets put in escrow and we have to use it towards completing some concrete work that needs to be done at the property. So what's next? We worked with a concrete vendor, construction company. We actually know the company really well. This guy is actually invested in our multifamily deal. So he has a construction company. They're scheduled to potentially do the work around mid-June. That's when we're scheduling. We'll work with the tenant to work on that. There's a big crack that needs to be repaired. There's a similar crack in the back of the property that was repaired by the previous owner. So we're going to repair that. And there's also some concrete work that needs to be done within the parking lot. Just prepping the property, upgrading the property, making sure that it's in good shape for the next tenant and or the next buyer. For the roof, so that same construction company inspected the roof, found some minor potential issues, touch-ups, around $6,500, very minor. We're able to source the warranty, roof warranty. The previous owner did not have the warranty. The tenant who actually sold the property to the previous owner didn't have the warranty. We're able to source that warranty through a broker relationship in the market. Obviously, very well-connected broker. He was able to kind of finagle and get that roof warranty. So we might actually get some relief on that work on the roof through this warranty. So that was good news. And then a minor thing, we're working with a vendor that supplies vending machines for drinks and snacks for the tenant. So we're thinking about doing that. We're talking with the tenant. The tenant agrees it might help. Our friend who runs this business will bring his vending machines in, so it's a win-win, and then it could be a potential thing that the next tenant or the next buyer wants in the property as well. So we've had contact with the owner. We found out yesterday that they closed the property. Initially, they told us they were looking at some properties up north in the Salina Prosper area to buy, to expand. And this is why they weren't going to renew their lease. They also own a property in Grand Prairie. We found out yesterday that they purchased and finalized the purchase of a property next to their Grand Prairie property. And they're flying up today to kind of check it out and think about what their plans are. So reconfirming that they're vacating the space at the end of the lease. But we're just staying in constant contact with the tenant and make sure it aligns with our business plan. So for now, our plan is to quietly market the property for sale and or lease. This is a really good idea that Scott had. We are going to create an email campaign letting brokers in the market know that we closed this property. This property, as you know, was purchased off market through a relationship I had through a capital partner that I knew, and they were looking to exit all property types outside of multifamily, and we got this property off market. So we want to let people know that we're in the market to potentially buy similar type properties, but it's really our first touch point out to these brokers. So in kind of reciprocation, we can work with them to potentially have them help us sell the property. So we're going to initially act as the seller's broker. Scott has his license, and then we're going to offer, as kind of a first preference, have the brokers potentially sell to an owner user, and then kind of like second preference to lease up the space to an at-market longer-term lease. And we've been reaching out to, business owners in the market. I run a big meetup here. There's a broker that's a multifamily broker. He does a bunch of different things. He has a potential owner-user buyer that's in the process of getting an SBA loan approved, just as an example. And then kind of once that goes through, he can kind of figure out what he can afford and potentially buy the property. Obviously, we want to show the property to as many people as possible to get the highest price. And again, our our perfect scenario, kind of upside scenario, is to sell to an owner user because the owner user will pay a premium for the space. So kind of as we build a relationship with the tenant, we meet with the tenant, in person, kind of understand what their business plan is at that Grand Prairie site. We will reach out to brokers and let them know that we want to sell this property, right? So that's kind of what and it's going to be available next May. Initially, it's going to be soft marketing. We really want to kind of lock down and know for certain that the tenant is vacating. They said it multiple times. We want to kind of know exactly what their plan is. So we want to have some time to lock that down before we do a full marketing campaign, create flyers, and kind of send it out to the brokerage community for sale. And then around September, the plan is if we haven't found an owner user or a tenant that's going to lease up at market, we sign an agreement with the broker, just to market the property, an exclusive broker agreement to do that. So that's the update. Property overall performing very well. Everything is on track, and we'll keep you posted as things progress. And we look forward to talking to you and giving you an update in next month's update. Thank you.